Happy Sunday, Tampa Bay. We're with you for another week here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show like we are every Sunday at 10 o'clock on WFLA. Andrew Duncan, the Duncan Duo team at LPT Realty, giving you all the information about the Tampa Bay real estate market every single week. When we aren't on air, make sure to follow us on all of our socials at the Duncan Duo, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Again, at the Duncan Duo. Anytime we aren't on air, happy to give you all the real estate information in Tampa Bay on our social media channels, constantly doing giveaways, exciting stuff on there. And man, what a week it was to be a Tampa Bay Lightning fan for the last week or so. Last Sunday, I got to attend the Raymond James inaugural. Hopefully they continue that game, and saw what an epic comeback by our Lightning. So proud to be honored as the official real estate agents of the Lightning for more than a decade, and happy to be a part of such a winning team. But what a cool game and cool experience, and I hope they get to do that again. I just hope the next time they do it, maybe it's a little bit warmer. So anyway, I want to start today talking about one of the polarizing things that I see quite regularly with a lot of friends, and it's people, that kind of look to invest in different things. And I want to make the case today for why investing in real estate can be so powerful for you compared to investing in other industries. And one of those industries in particular, cryptocurrency. I have friends that are bleeding this week with the massive downturns in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I have very little exposure to that. But ultimately, when I do see these huge swings in the stock market, in individual stock positions, or in cryptocurrency, it reminds me the value of investing in real estate. And I want to talk about that a little bit today for anyone out there that's a recovering crypto bro or somebody that's heavily invested in crypto. I want to talk about the pros and cons of investing in real estate and how our team can help you with that. So if you're thinking about investing in real estate, first and foremost, it's important that you have an investor savvy agent. We have multiple agents on our team that are investor savvy. You can call or text us at 813-359-8990. You can go to the Duncan Duo website. You can look at our reviews online. And if you reach out to us and you inquire about investing in real estate, whether that's commercial real estate, whether that's multifamily, rental property, single family home rentals, whatever path that you're looking to invest in, we have agents that specialize in particular niches. So for example, if you're someone that says, hey, I'm thinking about investing in commercial real estate, you're going to get a different agent. You're going to get Grant on my team or Sam on my team that focus on working with our commercial clients. If you said, hey, I want to buy rentals, and you're going to get Ben or Jackie. If you said, hey, I want to buy, multifamily, that would probably be the same thing, a Grant or a Sam. So on my team, our agents really focus on niches. And I think it's one of the unique differences about working with a group like mine is that my agents obviously serve a lot of customers, but they have things they specialize in. No different than a large law firm that has, personal injury attorneys, divorce attorneys, estate or trust attorneys that are experienced in different niches. We offer the same thing and the same focus. So back to kind of making the case for why to invest in real estate over a cryptocurrency or a stock. And certainly I have exposure. I have money in the market. I have stock. I have a lot of real estate. But why real estate is so valuable is for example, the public markets and cryptocurrency have these enormous swings. They're very fast moving markets. A stock may have something bad that happens in the company, and it might drop a massive amount in one day, and then it recovers. And there's this kind of, psychological damage that people go through when their portfolio or one of their positions is down, or where their Bitcoin position is down. And I deal with it when I talk to friends, because I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? How was your week? And they're like, oh, it was horrible. Crypto crushed me this week. And what it made me realize was that, maybe that person, wasn't advised properly, and maybe they're not in the right asset class. Because if you're that much into any one particular asset class, when the market drops, you feel that emotional drain. that is one of the beautiful parts about real estate. In addition to the tax benefits, right? You get, you get some depreciation benefits. You get certain write-offs. You can use other people's money to grow the value of the asset and get renters to pay your mortgage. There are not a lot of assets that allow you to do that, number one. Number two, you don't have these huge swings. Real estate is so slow moving that even things like massive cuts in interest rates, for example, when we've seen 25 or 50 basis point cuts in the public markets, you see a moon effect. You see risk assets massively rise, right? And then when there's not a rate cut, they drop. Real estate doesn't operate the same way. It takes such a long time for these things to impact the real estate market. It just doesn't work that way. So when you have this downturn in the real estate market, it takes a long time to get there. Same thing. When you have a huge upswing, it takes a long time to get there. So no one piece of news is moving people psychologically or emotionally like they move with cryptocurrency or the stock market. So an example would be, let's say we have a Fed rate cut. Of course, that might prompt a little bit of demand and increase some transactions if that rate cut trickles down through the treasuries and ends up reducing interest rates. But you might see a 1 or 2% swing in price over a several month period. Even in the months that we saw the most massive appreciation we've ever seen, where in an entire year, the market in our market, we saw the average sale price increase 27 to 30%. That's an average of 2.5% in a month. Okay. Now, your home or an individual home was kind of seeing that same trend, whereas a stock might go up 20% in a day or drop 20% in a day. The psychological damage that can cause for somebody and how it can control their happiness is something you don't deal with in real estate. It's much more consistent. It's much more mentally rewarding, in my opinion, because you don't have those huge swings. The other benefit is that it is an asset you can improve. So when you have investment real estate, you can say, hey, I'm going to go and improve the building. I'm going to go spend money on this, which I then write off. I'm going to go improve the value by doing these things so that I can either increase the rent or improve the value of the property. With cryptocurrency or with stocks, you really can't do that. Now, can you leverage them? Can you take margin against them? Of course you can, but you're not really improving the situation. You're gambling in a sense. That's one of the beautiful things about investing in real estate is that you can buy distressed properties, you can buy damaged properties, you can make improvements to them, sweat equity improvements, even if you don't actually spend money, but you go and work on them. If you own Google stock or you own Bitcoin or Ethereum, you can't show up at Google headquarters in Palo Alto, or you can't show up at a Bitcoin place and say, hey, let me come in here and work today to increase the value of my Bitcoin. Now, you could mine Bitcoin, but there are people that have pretty much mastered that and made it cost prohibitive for an individual person to keep up with that. So what am I saying? Should you have all of your money in any one of those asset classes, whether it's the stock market or whether it's the cryptocurrency? In my opinion, no. And I'm not a financial advisor, but I've had a lot of success investing in real estate and in other asset classes. And I can tell you that the emotional upswings and downswings of the public markets and of cryptocurrency can be debilitating. You don't have that same obstacle with real estate. The only time you have those obstacles with real estate, of course, are things like hurricanes or maybe a tenant damaging your property. The difference in real estate with the biggest risks that you have, okay? So the biggest risks that you have in real estate are a storm damaging your property or a fire or a tenant damaging it. Well, that's insurance. That's what insurance is for, to cover your downside risk. The ability to cover your downside risk in cryptocurrency or in the stock market is much more challenging. Can it be done? Yes. You can short certain industries, you can short certain sectors, you can hedge your bets by betting heavy on one stock and then lighter on another. Are there ways to get insurance in a sense? Yes. However, not completely the same way as real estate, not full protection and not easy click of a button. The challenge with most investors in the public markets that aren't really experienced at it is they're sometimes relying on people that are giving them bad advice that is self-fulfilling, number one, and number two, it turns into gambling. Okay, they chase something, they lose a little bit, so then they try and earn it back. The house always wins. Okay, you go to Vegas. Are there people that win in Vegas? Yeah. Are there people that win on Polymarket and on Kalshi? Yes. Are there people that win doing day trading? Yes. But they are few and far between. Most of the time when they lose, they make bad choices, they pull out of the investment, and then they try to gamble to win back what they lost. That same thing doesn't really apply to real estate. So you're able to keep consistently hitting singles as a real estate investor. You buy another rental property, you buy some land and you hold it until you can develop it. You buy a multifamily building or a quadplex and you upgrade into an apartment building. All these things are ways that you can leverage the tax consequences as well. So, for example, we have a 1031 exchange in investment real estate where you sell your your asset and then you have a gain, but you roll that over into another property and you don't have to pay taxes on it. You don't have the same tax benefits in most other asset classes. If I sell a stock today and I have a gain, I'm paying taxes on that, even if I go buy another stock. So there are a lot of different strategies with real estate that make it very tax advantageous. And so that's why I'm a proponent of real estate. If you're somebody that's heavily invested in the stock market and crypto and you're tired of those ups and the downs, please reach out to us. I'd love to align you with one of my team's agents that can help you, focus on investing in real estate and avoid the emotional drawdowns of, what we saw in crypto and in the stock market this week. And, focus on hitting singles consistently over time and growing your wealth. Because unfortunately, the main reason people don't chase real estate is because it takes longer to gain your wealth compared to the hope or the dream that you're going to pick some stock that's going to 10x. And the likelihood is that you'll end up losing, because you're gambling. So hopefully that makes sense. We'd love to help you. TheDuncanDuo.com. Be back after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show. So back here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show, talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market. Andrew Duncan, the Duncan Duo team, LPT Realty. Looking to hire agents at jointheduo.com. If you're interested in a real estate career, change in brokerages, whatever it is, we'd love the opportunity to help you again at jointheduo.com. We are looking to add agents to our team. We increased our marketing budget this year. We're already off to a great start, performing better than we did last year, markedly better than we did last year in January, and looking really strong in February as well. So if you need some new motivation, a new group to be around, as well as an awesome setup with coaching, wealth building, helping agents be better with buyers, helping agents be better with sellers, and the opportunity to work with leads, we'd love the opportunity to help you. Again, that's at jointheduo.com. So I've talked about this a few times before, and I think the last time I talked about it, it was pretty well received, but I want to talk about multi-generational living. So if you're a home seller and you have and this is important because a lot of agents don't do a good job of marketing this. So when you have a detached in-law apartment or a separate entryway for an attached either bonus room or bedroom, a garage apartment, all of those things are becoming more and more valuable. A new survey finds that 39% of Americans are more likely to move aging parents into their home than consider assisted living or nursing facilities. And I'm actually one of those people. You know, my mom splits time between living with me and my brother, and ultimately it was just for us. We felt like we could handle it. We could get help for her as she needed it. And we didn't want to put her in assisted living. We wanted to continue to spend as much time with her as we could. And so fortunately, my house is set up, as is my brother's house, are set up to be able to accommodate that. If it wasn't, that would be something we would be looking for to be very important to us. So if you, there are a lot of customers of ours that sometimes say, I'm thinking about adding on to my house, or I want a bonus room, or I am, going to do some renovations. That is one unique thing that you can do that will add massive value that isn't that expensive if you're already going to add on anyway, to add an extra entryway, because it applies to so many different people. Not only does it apply to someone who wants to move their aging parents in, there are a lot of kids graduating college and moving back home, or even older than that, moving back home because maybe the economy didn't handle them well or they lost their job. So those extra options in a home to be able to have another person, another generation of your family be able to internext it without disturbing everyone else becomes very valuable. So anyone that I talk to that thinks about renovating their home, it's something that I recommend. If you're going to add on a room, add on a door as well. Maybe even add in electrical outlets for a small fridge or a small sink. Those are things that make those spaces more valuable than they're going to cost. And so if you're thinking about doing that, we have a lot of renovation contractors we work with. Revive Design and Renovation, definitely somebody that we recommend. You can find them, Revive. You can search for them pretty simply on Google by searching for Revive. They're located on Kennedy Boulevard. They do some really incredible renovation work for our clients. And they won't typically assist with the addition part of it. But if you've got the house already set up for that, or if you want to kind of maybe add an extra door, different things like that, there are things that they can do in terms of also updating kitchens and baths, which are more of their specialty. But multi-generational family living, I see not marketed properly all the time by real estate agents. I went on a tour with a client of mine who is an ex-hockey player not long ago, and that was a really important thing for them. And we found a house that checked off all the boxes, and it actually had a mother-in-law setup where you could enter into the bedroom from a separate entrance. It didn't have a walkway, but that could easily be done. And it was just poorly marketed. It wasn't mentioned at all in the marketing remarks about the ability to add that. So if you're a home seller, maybe that's something that got missed this year. We noticed in January a huge surge of clients coming to us that had homes that failed to sell because the agents didn't market the features properly. If you're one of those people, whether it's a mother-in-law apartment that didn't get marketed properly, whether it's a view, the size, the features, the photos, the neighborhood, there are a lot of times where we look at situations and find out that it wasn't the price. Oftentimes it is, wasn't the price of the home, that it was that features weren't properly marketed. So if you're one of those people, we would love the opportunity to help you. We have sold thousands of homes that failed to sell with other agents. It is something that we specialize in a big way. It's a completely different marketing strategy. We're going to look at everything that was done on the home. We're going to analyze it. We're going to figure out where the mistakes were, and we're going to guide you towards success. Again, we specialize in helping customers whose homes failed to sell with other agents. If that's you, if your home didn't sell, if you became unhappy, if you pulled it from the market, we would love the opportunity to talk to you, apply for the job, and show you what we would do differently as an agent that would be focused on revitalizing the marketing of the property, refreshing it, new photos, new videos, and then a different target marketing approach to get that home in front of the right people, including the ones that are looking for multi-generational housing or any of the features that sometimes get missed in marketing. And if that's something you're interested in, just go to duncanduo.com. You can get your free home value estimate on that website. You can also make tweaks to your home value. You can provide more features. You can communicate with a live human. While it is an AI platform, our agents oversee it. They can update your value. They can let you know what your home would sell for in a cash offer situation, as well as help you get your home back on the market. You can set an appointment directly with our team, again, at duncanduo.com. And we're going to continue this conversation after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show. So we're back here on the Duncan Duo Show talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market. And look, it's no secret that there's people out there having challenges in the labor market, in their personal lives, having financial struggles. I noticed this week that there was some kind of really low numbers that came out for employment. Stock market has had its ups and downs. And I want to make sure people that own their house that haven't looked at refinancing in a while think about that as an option to help them. This is specifically helpful for someone like a veteran who's got a VA loan, someone who has an FHA loan. Of course, if you have a conventional or jumbo loan, this can apply, but it isn't necessarily as easy. So when you have a loan, one of the best things you can look to do to improve your financial situation, lower your monthly payment, and potentially use the lower interest rate to pay off other debts is a refinance. And the best refinance product out there is called a streamline refinance. Now, it's called something a little bit different for the differences between VA and FHA loans, but I want to give you the plug of who I think can help you with this, and it's Citywide Mortgage, Melissa Oscar Morgan, citywidetampa.com. Again, the website is citywidetampa.com. If you have an interest rate that is near a 7, high 6s, even mid 6s, you could potentially save yourself hundreds of dollars a month, thousands of dollars a year in interest, depending on the price of your home, by doing a streamlined refinance. Now, I want to make this clear. If you're thinking about doing a refinance on your house and you have a VA or FHA loan, listen up, because this is important. First, you don't actually have to qualify the same way you do for a typical refinance or purchase. In a typical refinance or purchase, they're going to want to appraise the home to make sure it meets that value or higher, and they're going to want to make sure that you're employed and you have the income and the ability to afford it. Now, you might be using savings, you might be unemployed, and you might think, oh, no one's going to refinance me. Or you might say, hey, my house is nowhere near, my house is depreciated. It's worth less than what I owe. It doesn't matter. VA and FHA are still on the hook for that loan no matter what. So they're willing to give you relief and lower your payment with no out-of-pocket costs. Now, the costs to do the loan are typically lumped into your principal, but the ability to lower your payment is pretty considerable. You can do a streamlined refinance, and this is especially important if you have an interest rate 6.5 or higher, because where rates at today on VA and FHA are much lower than that, so you'd have an instant savings in your monthly payment. Typically, you could skip a month or two of your payment, a month, not two, a month, depending on when the dates line up. You could also get your PMI eliminated or reduced, or avoid PMI and start building more equity. So again, if you think about the path to your financial life and you're struggling financially and you need some help, a refinance can be a great way to inject some much needed cash into other situations, as well as lower your down payment. We've had customers this week at Citywide reach out to do a refinance, and they not only got some cash to pay off other debt, but they still lowered their payment even while taking a higher loan because of the drastic savings in their interest rate. So there's so many people out there, and again, especially veterans, they've earned the right to get these kinds of benefits, these streamlined refinances, because of the things that they do to protect our country. So if you're a veteran or you have a VA or FHA loan, strongly recommend you think about it. And again, our representatives, Morgan, Melissa, and Oscar, will shoot you straight. They'll tell you whether or not you should do it or whether you should wait. There are some scenarios where you might be able to wait and get a slightly lower rate a few months from now, or you might need rates to come down a little bit more before it makes sense. Every situation's a little bit different because it depends on how long you're going to be in the house to ensure that, the money that you add on to the balance makes sense. So how long you're going to be in the house, and what your current rate is, what your financial situation is. So they act in a sense as a consultant. So look at your overall financial situation to decide, does it make sense to refinance now, or should you maybe wait a little bit down the line? So it's super important to think about that as an option. If you've lost your job, you don't need to qualify. It doesn't matter if you're not employed. It doesn't matter if you don't have the money. It doesn't matter if your house isn't worth what it used to be. They already are on the VA and FHA are already on the hook for that loan. So they're willing to lower your payment, okay, in a streamline. And then potentially you could also look at, a cash out type scenario, again, assuming the appraisal hits. Now, they won't let you typically take cash out above your current loan amount if there isn't equity there. So it depends on how long you've owned your home, but at a minimum, an easy ability to lower your down payment. And I can't say enough great things about Melissa, Oscar, and Morgan with Citywide. We had a sale this week, and they absolutely saved the day. It was a client of ours that had decided to work with another lender. They went through the whole process, and they found out towards the end that the mortgage lender gave them a bait and switch and weren't honest with them about what the taxes and insurance were going to be. The customer looked simply at the total payment of the mortgage with tax and insurance factored in, and that's how they shopped. And the lender that quoted them lower taxes and insurance, which were a lie because the lender has nothing to do with those things, got the deal. And then as it moved down the line, they were paying a higher rate and higher closing costs with that lender. And then when taxes and insurance came in, they didn't realize that the lender had no control over that, and their payment was massively higher. Switched over to Melissa at Citywide, got them a better rate, got them lower closing costs, made the whole deal happen, and saved the day. So if you need your mortgage saved, go to citywidetampa.com. Also check them out for a streamlined refinance and so much more. They really do a great job for our team. So again, you're listening to the Duncan Duo Real Estate Show here on WFLA News. Andrew Duncan, the Duncan Duo team at LPT Realty. When we aren't on air, please make sure to follow us on all of our socials, again, at the Duncan Duo, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I want to talk next to home sellers that are thinking about putting their house on the market. There are a lot of sellers that are really good at this. They go tour model homes or they watch HGTV, and they're into design and technology, and they've got a beautiful home and beautiful, furniture, and it shows well, and they play music and they bake cookies. And, so there's some sellers that knock this out of the park. Okay. And then there are some that do not. When you're buying real estate, and this is especially important if you're selling to someone who plans to buy it and occupy. If this is an investment property, it's probably not as applicable, but if you're selling it to someone that's going to be a homeowner, you're selling a lifestyle. Okay, you're not selling four walls. You're really selling a lifestyle, okay? When they look at your house, do they see themselves living in it, and do they feel comfortable? Do they see the lifestyle of the home? And unfortunately, a lot of times the buyers don't see the lifestyle of the home because they're too busy weeding through all of your stuff, okay? So I want to give you some tips here if you're thinking about selling your home, the things that you need to do to be able to help get the most value, the most money out of your house, okay? and to sell the lifestyle to the customer. First and foremost, most customers don't have vision, and a vacant home will show better, okay, than a home that is massively cluttered, dirty, and has a bunch of stuff everywhere. Because at least in that scenario, they can envision where their stuff would go. When there is a house that's cluttered and has ugly furniture and bad design and repairs that are needed, the buyer has a hard time looking past those things. They're going to pay too much attention to your stuff. So first and foremost, home sellers, declutter your house. If you're not great at design, be as minimal as possible. You can go to a builder model home and get some ideas. You can go online. You can ask your favorite AI for help as well. But the idea is to allow the buyer to walk into that home and feel at home and feel like it could be their home. So all the personal mementos, the NASCAR wall, all of the things that make that home yours, you can declutter that out of the house so the buyer can make it feel like theirs. So personal photos, we've seen whole walls of family photos. We've seen large memorabilia collections. We've seen really flamboyant art. Those are things that are going to cause the customer to talk about and pay attention to, and then they're not paying attention to your house. So number one, declutter the house. Number two, take care of any visible repairs. Look, I understand that sometimes it's impossible to know what's behind the walls or what an inspector might find. It's not a bad idea sometimes to have an inspector look at the house before it goes on the market and correct everything. But if you have visible flaws, things that people can see that you don't correct, customers automatically think that there's more damage there. There's more things that are wrong if they don't take the initiative to repair a minor, easy cosmetic thing. What are we not seeing? And it spooks them. The second thing that you want to do when you put your house on the market, again, when it comes to furniture, I mentioned this before, be minimalist and declutter. You want people to be able to freely move between the rooms. You don't want so much furniture and so much clutter that people don't feel like they can sit down. The more comfortable someone is going into your home, the longer they stay in it, the more likely they are to buy it. Okay, so that's a really important tactic to the customer feeling great and comfortable in the home. Second thing, if you're not great at design and you've got a lot of furniture and color mismatches, okay, fix it, declutter it, or simply remove stuff. Okay, I always tell people we're going to sell your house, so you might as well start moving now. So again, take care of the repairs, declutter the house. Last but not least, have the house spotless clean, okay? Have it smelling nice. Smells matter. If you can't do anything but that, that's at least a sign that shows that you care about the home and that you maintain it, that you keep it clean. If you're not great at design, if you're not great at furniture picking, if your colors are off or bad or flamboyant or crazy, or you're not going to remove your personal, mural to your daughter who's a beauty contest pageant. Yes, I had that one before. Have the home spotless clean. Have it cleaned. Don't have dishes everywhere. Don't have accidents. Don't have stuff spread out. Don't have dirty clothes everywhere. Have the bed made. Okay, those are just simple common things. If you want to go the extra mile would be always having the air conditioned cool. Okay, always having music playing, like nice, calm, chill music. Having the house smelling nice, fresh baked cookies don't hurt. And then last but not least, don't be there. Okay. As the home seller, you should not be there. Let me repeat that. Do not be there. The more that you're there, the more uncomfortable and rushed people feel because now they're on your time instead of their time. They feel like they're trespassing into your home and then they rush through the house. Also, frankly, there are a lot of home sellers that just don't understand how uncomfortable they make people. Maybe they don't have great people skills. They don't have great sales skills, and they follow people around from room to room. It's like when your parents wanted to go on your date with you. Okay. It's not comfortable. Don't be there. If you're the seller, the buyers don't want a fact-finding mission. They don't need you to answer all the questions on the first showing. They want to experience the home. They want to emotionally attach and they want to fall in love. They can't do that if you're leg humping them through every single room, following them around, like their mom. Okay, don't be there, sellers. Do not be there. Let the customer feel it. If you need to be there for a second showing, potentially answer questions if the buyers have them, or to be prepared to answer questions for your agent, that can help too. So hopefully these tips help you get your home sold for top dollar. If that's what you want, just head to DuncanDuo.com. We'll be back wrapping up our last segment after a quick break here on WFLA News. So back here on the Duncan Duo Show, talking about the Tampa Bay real estate market. Andrew Duncan, the Duncan Duo team at LPT Realty. I took a call from a friend this week. It's a guy that I know from the car scene. I'm a big car collector, and I go to a lot of car shows, so I meet a lot of people, and got approached by him with a really specific and unique need. And it made me realize it was something that I needed to talk about on air. After having run this business for more than 20 years, we have an enormous database of people that we're communicating with, where we're letting them know about their home value, many of which don't end up using my company, but they use my website or my dashboard through my website to keep up to date on their home value and up to date on what's going on in their neighborhood. So if you're someone out there that is a home buyer and you're looking for something unique, off market, okay, some of the best opportunities never make it to the market, never make it to the MLS. They get sold, especially in the luxury space. They get sold before they ever hit the market. If that's you, if you're looking for something that is off market, that you haven't found, that you've gone to all the websites and you don't see, there's plenty of real estate agents that'll probably set you up on a search and say, hey, if it comes available, I'll let you know. Those real estate agents are waiting for the magical MLS marketing machine to shoot out deals for them. My real estate agents are going to take it a step further, and they're going to go grind, and they're going to go door knock, and they're going to go browse our database to find homes that fit your criteria. Recently, we had a customer looking for something, a water chase up to 1.5. We have a customer looking for Bayshore waterfront above $10 million. We've got a customer that wants something obviously super custom and amazing, and there's only a few of those out there. We have a customer that wanted a condo in a specific building, only in that building, and we've been able to work and help them. So if you're looking for something very specific, but you're not finding it on the MLS, your agent isn't finding it, please reach out to us. Go to theduncanduo.com, call us or text us, 813-359-8990. Let us know specifically what it is that you're looking for. Now, what I will tell you is, if you're just looking for deals on investments or cap rates, or if you're just about the numbers, it's going to be really challenging to find those things specifically. But if you're someone that wants to buy and move into a home, and what you're finding out on the market isn't working for you, that's really more the niche that we'd like to help. Because the problem with finding homes that meet certain criteria financially is that it's just really hard to find that from the data. You don't know what it's renting for. But if you're wanting to be a homeowner and live in a home and you're not finding what's out there, you're looking for something unique, or, you're affluent and you have really high standards and you're not seeing it out on the market and you don't want to build it, we will go to hunt for you. We will look in our database. We will door knock. We will track down the properties to see if we can make an off-market deal happen, because some of the best real estate sells off-market. If that is you, I'll give you again the contact information. If you're not finding what you want in the market and you want to buy a home that doesn't exist, you don't want to build, even if you've identified the homes, you figured out it's these 5 properties that would fit my criteria, we will reach out to them. We will see if we have a connection. One of the ones this week, I ended up knowing one of the sellers after having been in the business so long. One of the sellers of one of the properties that one of my clients is looking for, I personally know the guy. So it made the reach out really, really simple. So if you're looking for something unique, go to theduncanduo.com, send us a message. You can also send us a message on any of our social channels, or you can go to theduncanduo.com. Last but not least, you can text us, 813-359-8990 with what specifically you're looking for. And again, we'll go to work. Our agents are constantly out looking at homes. We go on listing appointments every single day. I have a group of 10 listing partners. They go out to meet with home sellers every single day. Unfortunately, some of those home sellers choose not to work with us or choose not to sell their home, but we know that they're a seller. We know that they're interested. So every week in our office, we have a meeting. And in that meeting, our agents that are working with home buyers will say, hey, here's what I'm looking for. And oftentimes, one of my listing agents will say, hey, let's talk. I've got that. It's not on the market or not on the market yet, but it's coming. And then we obviously have a database of customers. We use the database, our agents plug in needs. So we're going to use technology to our advantage and AI features to help find the properties that meet your needs. So if you're an affluent customer that's looking for something really specific and you're not finding it, maybe your agent isn't doing the work. Maybe your agent is just plugging you into the MLS and sending you what pops onto the magical MLS marketing machine, and you're not seeing what you want. You might need an agent that's willing to do the nitty-gritty stuff, the harder door knocking in neighborhood, getting into a condo community and seeing if there are any owners that want to sell, including but not limited to going back in the history of the MLS to find agents that help those customers. We had one recently where a customer gave us something really unique and they said that's what they wanted. We went and found a home that was on the market in 2019 and didn't sell. We couldn't get a hold of the owner. The owner wasn't responding. We called the agent that had the listing. And the agent was able to get a hold of him. We put a deal together for a house that wasn't even listed. So if that's you, again, hit us up, 813-359-8990, and you can call or text that line, or simply go to theduncanduo.com or message us on any of our social channels with what your need is, and we'll go to work seeing what we can do to find it. So hopefully you've gotten some great information from today's show. Again, hit us up at The Duncan Duo, any of the social media channels, and anytime we aren't on air. And have an awesome rest of your weekend, Tampa Bay. Thanks for tuning in.